Hello, it's Debbie Gilbert from the Business Awards show, and I'm also the owner of the Best Business Women Awards. And today I'm joined by Tessa, owner of ClubHub UK, which is the largest business directory for children's activities in the UK. And she also runs her own awards. So welcome, Tessa.
Hi, Debbie. Thanks so much for having me. Yeah, new name change. I got married a few weeks ago. So yeah, I used to be Tessa Robinson, but Tessa Day now.
Oh, brilliant. Okie doke. Well, we've brought you on today to talk about two things, really, because Tessa has been a Silver Award winner in the Best Business Women Awards and also has some other award stories to share with us today. But the main reason as well we wanted to talk to Tessa was all about her awards, because I love talking to other award organisers. So what I thought we'd start with is talking a bit about your background, why you set up ClubHub UK, what that's all about, and then we'll go on and talk about the awards. So tell us a bit more about ClubHub UK.
Yeah, definitely. So I have a musical theatre background. I went to drama school. I love singing, dancing, and acting, and all that kind of, all that kind of malarkey. And so I set up Tessa's Jazz Hands at the age of 21, which is a musical theatre kids club for primary school children. And yeah, I kind of just absolutely love doing that as a side thing to acting. And then as I was kind of, promoting it and marketing it, I just found it really difficult to advertise it online. So at the time, I think you had like Net Mums and maybe like Mumsnet Chat and kind of things like that. But most of the marketing was, flyers outside primary schools and that kind of like magazine, families magazine, and those types of marketing types of things. And I thought, why don't I create a online website, which is a directory, so that a parent can type in their location, their child's age, and then what they want to do. So swimming, basketball, dance, anything they want to do. And then a list comes up in geographical order. So yeah, a couple of years later, when I was 23, I set up ClubHub UK with a kind of a social enterprise company down in Dorset who ran their own STEM coding kind of kids club. They also create websites and apps. So yeah, they offered to create the website and app for me for literally a third of the price of what everyone else was charging me.
Wow.
And so yeah, ClubHub was established in 2016.
Exciting and amazing. And how many children's clubs and activities have you got on your website now?
Oh goodness, loads. Yeah, I think we're up to about 8,000 different types of activities.
That's
so
amazing.
Yeah, and that includes all the different ones. So you've got all the attractions like Sea Life and Legoland and all those types of ones. But of course, you've got all the swimming clubs, you've got all the like science clubs, all the dance and gymnastics and everything. So it's so amazing. So yeah, the way it works is that it's a membership for children's activity providers. Providers pay £38 plus VAT per year, but it is completely free for any charity, any non-profit business, or any community interest community who want to be kind of on it as well.
Fantastic. So then from that, you decided to set up some awards and a sort of conference on the same day. So tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so when I first started ClubHub, I was really kind of on Twitter a lot, and I love Twitter. That was kind of the first social media channel that I kind of was on, and I entered quite a lot of those Twitter Hour awards. So you've got like the SBS one with Theopathetus. I won that with both my businesses in early 2017. And then there was a couple of old with Jacqueline Gold. She did the one called the Wow, hashtag Wow Awards. So yeah, I really like those. And when I was looking to enter myself into awards, I realized there wasn't one for the children's activity provider kind of industry at all. There were ones where you voted, so it's all done on a voting scale, where you kind of ask your best friend and someone you haven't spoken to in ages to all vote for you. And I just didn't really like that at all. So yeah, that's why I set up the ClubHub Awards in 2019. And yeah, as you said, I added a conference on in the morning. And so it's mostly kind of networking and learning throughout the day. and then the awards in the afternoon, in the late afternoon. And yeah, so the first awards was in 2019, about 5 years ago in London, and it was amazing. The atmosphere was just incredible. And as if anyone knows a children's activity provider business owner, they're such happy, proactive, those types of people that if you can imagine, the energy in the room was just electric. And so yeah, I've just had a buzz for awards ever since. And then since I've done those, I've actually entered myself into as many as I possibly can. Into yours, Debbie. I think it's the third time. I think I'm a finalist now. I think I've entered 4 times, been a finalist 3 times. And then the Great British Entrepreneur Awards, love those. Business Success Awards with Stacey Calder, they're great fun. So yeah, it's just, there's such a buzz for awards, and I just kind of want every business owner to enter them. They're just kind of, they give you the momentum to just keep going.
So what's the big bonus for you, and what have you found that awards have brought to your business?
Oh, so much. I think, as I just said, it gives you the energy to keep going a lot of the time, that when you kind of you kind of think, oh, I'm running on low or running on empty at the moment, and then you're a finalist and you didn't expect to be. The other one, which was quite big recently, is I got into the top 100 of the F Entrepreneur IORSO community in January this year, and I absolutely love being part of that. That's the top 100 female entrepreneurs. And so yeah, you get to be part of all these different communities of people, and to be able to kind of ask people questions, because of course being a business owner is lonely, and you might not have the staff or people or to ask questions to, and to kind of bounce back from. So yeah, I'm in all these different communities now of people who have kind of entered awards, and in these award communities, that when I see them again at the next awards, like yours, Debbie, I've met some people there that I've had no idea who they were before, and now I'm looking forward to seeing them again in September.
Yeah. And do you make a point of connecting up with the other finalists from the awards?
Yeah, definitely. I have a look on your website or Instagram and kind of have a little nosy at all of them, and then send them a DM on Instagram or something just before, and say looking forward to meeting you and everything. And yeah, I think as well, it gives you time to kind of, as you write the entry, it gives you time to kind of go through everything and think, oh, it gives you ideas as well. Oh, I haven't done that yet. And then it's kind of evaluating your whole business every time you enter an award.
It's interesting you touched on the voting, because anyone who knows me and has listened to my other podcasts or read anything I write on LinkedIn, it's very much against voting. And the reason I'm against voting is because it becomes a popularity contest, as opposed to a judging panel who are business experts who are looking at your business and every aspect of it, rather than well, that person's got 5,000 votes, so they've won, purely based on the votes. And like you said, if you've got a large family and a big circle of friends, you're going to win, as opposed to someone who perhaps has better business acumen than that person. I'm also a member of F Entrepreneur, so big shout out.
Oh, of course today. You are.
Yeah, first year. So that was really exciting. And it is so true what you say about communities, because actually the people over the years, so we're in our 9th year of Best Business Women Awards, and actually the people who have ingrained themselves in the community and really do connect with other finalists are the ones that get the most out of it, because actually it's not just about a shiny statuette, it's about how can you extend your network with other entrepreneurs who are obviously doing really well, and surround yourself by those incredible people. So let's talk a bit about your awards now. So if somebody wants to enter your awards, what's the process of entering Clubhub Awards?
So firstly, they have to be a children's activity provider.
Right.
So they, have to, but it doesn't have to be necessarily like the same business. So for example, one year they could have been a swimming teacher for another company, and then they set up their own swimming school, years later or something. Yeah. So it's any type of children's activity provider. And then there's one entry form that they fill in,
Yeah.
And it's £5 to enter per business. That's not per category.
Yeah.
So there's 16 different categories.
Right.
And they range from, you know, biggest growth of the year, entrepreneur of the year, but there's also like community champion of the year and nonprofit business of the year. So there's a huge range of different categories to enter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one form that they fill in, and there's a lot of help on there. We say how many points are for each box, and we say above each box there's kind of questions of what you should possibly enter, and you know, maximum word count and everything. So, and then at the top as well, we've got a point table of how many points the judges will possibly give you for each thing. So we've got like, they'll give you this many points if you add evidence. They'll give you this many points if you know, I don't know, add a review in this section or something. So we do, pardon me, we do give a kind of a lot of help.
Yes.
Because I think as well in this industry, the children's activities industry, quite a lot of them haven't entered awards before, and ours might be the first ones that they do enter. So yeah, we try and give as much help as possible. And then, that goes through to our judging team. And so our judging panel will go through it and mark it in a point basis. So they'll give it how many points out of for each section. And then, for the finalists, it's all done on point basis. So how many points you get through to the finals. And then all the finalists are all judged again by all the judges. And then the winners are announced at the Club Hub event in May every year.
Fantastic. So when are your awards opening this year?
So this year, the applications open on the 1st of October.
Brilliant.
Which is every year, 1st of October of every year. And then they close on the 15th of January the following year.
Right.
And then, finalists are always announced at the beginning of March. It just depends on what day, because I always do that on a live, on Facebook Live or live on my website. So we just kind of make sure it's not on a weekend or kind of thing. And then, so then we announce all the winners at the Club Hub event. And that's such an amazing day. It's full of workshops and full of kind of, you know, amazing people kind of networking and seeing each other. The last time someone said it's like their staff room, which was quite a funny thing.
That's lovely. So are you like the Best Business Women Awards and get entries at the very last minute?
Oh, completely. Every time, Debbie, every time. It's because I always have I don't know if you do too. I have an aim of how many I want, how many applications I would like to get each year.
Yeah.
And I always my event manager Emma Hewitt manages a lot of it, and I always say to her, I don't know if we're going to hit our goal this year, and then suddenly on the last day they all come through, and we've got all this like more work to do, and it's always crazy on the last day.
And do you get people ringing you a week later saying, can I still enter?
Yes, mostly, to be honest, in like Instagram and Facebook Messenger, someone messages me going, I didn't know the application date and closing date was yesterday. Can I still enter? So we are incredibly strict on that. And we say definitely not, because we give them 3 months to enter.
And that's, so it's great to talk to you, because I feel your pain, because I go through it every year and we're like, no, a week later you cannot enter. No, the next day you cannot enter. We have this all the time. And it's just, I just find it amazing that people think that if there's a deadline that they can skip it and they can have their own deadline. And we're like, no, you can't have your own deadline. You know, it is what it is. It's shut. Ferme, closed.
It's crazy, because I don't know about you, Debbie, when you enter awards yourself, but I have a Word document, and then every single award I've ever entered is always on there. So that when I enter an award, I go to that Word document, I do pick and choose and add bits and things. So when people are entering the awards on the last day, I can't think what they can possibly be doing if they're filling it out from scratch, or if they have got a Word document they can go to pick bits out.
It's crazy. One of the things as well, I don't know if you get this, but people copy and paste stuff off their website. And one lady this year managed to copy and paste the same. She obviously had clicked on it and then didn't realise it hadn't copied again. So she answered 3 questions exactly the same, which had been copied off her website.
Oh no.
So I'm afraid that didn't even get to our judges, because we do a pre-screen of people, because we have to make sure that the stuff that goes to the judging panel is actually being filled in correctly.
Yeah, so we're at that stage now where our awards are this is the 5th year, or maybe the 6th year, I've lost count. But we've got to that stage, Debbie, where we're probably going to do that now, because before we just used to send everything off, and we only get probably about 200-300 businesses that enter.
That's still really good. That's still really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, that is good.
So yeah, we just send them all off, but we think we're gonna have to have that system now, that we check everyone's filled in the right stuff and the right boxes, and also for the categories. So does that all go to kind of one team of people to manage?
Yeah, so our team start off with checking everything before they go to the judges, because otherwise what was happening was, well, 2 things really changed the number of entries that we had and changed the quality. So we were free for many years, didn't charge, and then we became at what I call saturation level, where we were getting sort of over 1,000 entries, which is a huge number of things to handle.
Goodness.
So I met up with the lovely Don Hale, which has since passed away, and he started Awards International. He had loads of awards running across the globe, and I happened to be on a panel with him at an event, and then he said, "Oh, would you like to have a coffee?" And we had a lovely coffee and a chat, and I talked to him about this problem, and he said, "You need to put in an entry fee, because what it will do is it will cut the number of people that are entering for a start, which will make it more manageable." So we put in a nominal £25. We put it up a little bit this year to £29 plus VAT. So that literally halved the number of entries we got. So the following year we had 500, which was fine. But then, it's stuck around that number, 500, 700, sometimes, blah, blah, blah. It's around that number. But then, of course, what was happening was the judges were getting irritated with us. But it's true. Understandably so, that they were getting all the categories coming in, because we assign 3 categories to each judge.
Yeah, we do too.
And they were getting irritated by that, and I understand that. So in the end, we had to set up a screening team, which is normally 2 of my staff, sometimes me as well, and we go through them and we check the evidence. We check the questions have been answered properly, like as in, if people put 1-line answers in, we know you haven't answered it properly. If you're copying and pasting at the same thing, or you've entered the wrong categories, that's generally what they don't read the category specification properly. So you might have somebody who's had a business 6 months entering best business, which you can't be a best business after 6 months. So that they're pre-screened, and then the final entries go, the ones that we say fit the criteria and are correctly completed, will go to the judges for them to decide on the next step. And like you, we have a point system, and the judges they do a briefing session with me every year, and we just run through everything and make sure, because we do get new judges that come in, but it's good to do a briefing session anyway and touch base with them. And they have a big pack, and they have to read the pack, and
we've got that.
And they have to declare if they know anyone. So we do our best to make sure that if we do know they might know somebody, we don't give them that category, but then they have to declare it if they do, and they don't judge it then, because it wouldn't be fair if you know somebody. So it's all done it's a robust process, and it's great to hear you've got the same. Because
do any of your judges ever enter your awards?
No, they're not allowed
to.
No.
See, that's the difference with mine, is that because quite a lot of my judges are like the suppliers of the industry. So some of them are like, they help people with LinkedIn, or they help people with social media, or they help people with this and that. They're allowed to enter that category, the supplier of the year, but they're not allowed to judge. But they're not allowed to judge it.
No, so that's right. So you've almost got your own category for your judges, really. Then.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but that's fine. No, but mine all come from industry. So we don't have any, like, if you are a sponsor or a judge, you can't enter. That's it. Because I've been at, and I'm not saying that all awards do this, but I have been at a lot of awards where, weirdly, a lot of the sponsors are winning, and the judges are winning, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is very strange. So it's transparency for me, and I guess every awards does things differently, and I do believe that the majority of the awards industry is very, very credible, but there is parts of it, like these ones where they'll send you an email and tell you you've won an award.
Yes.
And this was something we warned our finalists about this year, because we were finding that they were taking our lists off our website and emailing people and saying, oh, you know, you've won an award. And it kind of came out at our winners' lunch this year, when at the end of the lunch, we were all sitting around having a drink, and somebody got their phone out and said, oh, Debbie, I've had this email. I've never entered these awards, and I've only ever entered yours. Do you give my data to other awards? And I was like, I don't know, not at all. Let me look. With that, 3 other people get their phones out with exactly the same thing. So that's when we realized that I suspected, but it's true. So just be aware if you get an email. Do you warn your finalists about that if they experienced that?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I do a podcast as well, all about kind of where I talk to a lot of the sponsors and talk to the judges, and in those conversations I say to people, watch out for those emails. The main thing is that they always say, if you accept, then you have to pay this much money, you know, you have to pay £300 to go in their program or go in this or that. That's the huge kind of thing to look for, is they want money from you straight away.
Exactly.
Basically.
So you've got a podcast as well. Quickly tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, I've done 2 seasons of that now. So the first one was all just about children's activity providers' lives. So I talked to loads of different members and how they set up their businesses and everything. So yeah, that's season 1. It's just called the Club Hub podcast. It's on Spotify and Anchor and everywhere. And then season 2 was all talking to all the sponsors of the 2023 awards, and talking about the event and the awards and talking about all of that, really. But yeah, I love doing podcasts. It's great to kind of just chat to your friends, really.
So we always like to finish ours with a bit of business advice. So we always ask our guests to share a little business nugget. So if you were going to share something with somebody who was in those early stages, maybe of a children's business, children's activities business, what would you recommend that they do?
I think for me, being found online is incredibly important. And I think maybe with children's activity provider businesses, but with other businesses as well, is that you focus so much on social media and on Facebook, Instagram and everything, and you know, your emails and all that type of marketing, but you don't actually focus on your actual presence online. So I think of some keywords or some key phrases that you'd like to come up on the first page of Google for. Type that into Google and see if you do come up on the first page of Google. And if you don't, you need to find a way to make sure that you are present on that first page for that key phrase.
And being on your site would be ideal for that, because it really does help with your SEO, doesn't it?
Yeah, we've got a domain authority of 54, which is really good. A huge amount of our pages are on the first page of Google search. So 80% of our traffic is organic, which means that people just click on a link on Google and then they come through to our website, which is actually my biggest kind of downside in a way, because when I say, how did you find out about us? They always just say Google, when actually they find us through Club Hub. Yeah. But we're going through that. It's more, you know, brand awareness and stuff that I need to concentrate on now. But yeah, I think that's my top tip is being found online is another huge marketing thing to look into, and there's lots of free tools. There's lots of Google Analytics, Google Trends, Google Search Console. There's loads of free tools out there for businesses to look at and yeah, be found online. Fantastic.
Well, I wish you continued success with Club Hub. It's an amazing organisation. So if you are listening to the podcast and you're a children's activity provider, do head over and have a look at Tessa's website. We will put the details into the show notes as well, so you can connect up with Tessa. Best of luck for the Best Business Women Awards. We're very excited to see you again this
Thank
year.
you.
So
I'll
it's
enter
great.
every year, Debbie. I'm doing the children's families one again this year,
Oh,
but
it's
I think
amazing.
maybe I'll do best business one for the first time
Yes,
next
you
year.
should. 100%. You're an incredible entrepreneur. And it's been great chatting with you. And I think, you know, setting up your own awards, I know is no mean feat because I've done it. So I know, and I came from the same place that you've come from, which is like, I've thought, right, I need to do something. I need to set up some awards for women. And just like you know, you identified the need for awards in the children's activities sector, which I think is lovely, because I have to say they're always such lovely finalists at our awards,
Yeah.
children and families. And the women running those businesses are incredibly dedicated. That's what comes across to me, incredibly. And you are one of those women. So thank you. And
thank you, Debbie.
we shall speak very soon. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.